Turn your house into a dream home. Recently opened a brand new one-stop stop for hardware and home decor. Visit the Home Hub at Maubale Madan Riting.
Umiti rangba gejala Conrad ki sangmau laong pag reservation policy kam don jungmut claim cruiser system bat mendaga kenti ke sorkar kanya keren bet tang ye rooster om ye reservation policy Conrad laong ba ka jinglang ke kunhun ke sorkar Meghalaya Democratic Alliance 2 kala Sngewthuh hagi bubun ki benta wat la ki don ki katu ni ki benta ki ba ki seng san perthai ki dang pan por ban puli pinya Conrad ula Batai ru ya kom traikam cruiser haga baide ba kijing pentraikam bat thungkam padula ong ba sorkar ka board ya kijing batha jong ka kashari halor kani.
Yeah, so we just finished the meeting and the briefing of the decision as well as the presentation that we had given to the cabinet yesterday. We have given the same presentation today to the MLAs of the MDA, and of course, as I had mentioned earlier also, that the entire concept of roster system is complicated in nature, and hence they had a lot of queries, and we have tried to clarify as much as possible, and to a large extent they have been able to grasp in the points, and whatever queries they had, we have tried to clarify those queries. And tomorrow we'll continue the meetings and we'll be meeting all parties, and once we have that discussion, then we'll be having a press conference after that meeting. Yes, they have given their views and suggestions and we've noted them down. The decision is actually taken, and that's the line that we are moving forward in, and now we are reaching out to all the stakeholders and MLAs and explaining to them that what the system that the government is following. No, that's not correct, because reservation is a different subject, but a roster without a reservation without a roster is meaningless. But talking about reservation, talking about roster and not touching reservation is not going to make any sense. That's not correct at all. You have to understand what a roster is. The roster is basically a scheme or a process or a schedule to implement the reservation policy in letter and spirit. Now, what that means, so let me start explaining so that all of you are also on board. What reservation does is that it allows certain reservations in certain categories. Now, these reservations then, when the posts are advertised, then the reservation policy is applied. Now, in the past, what used to happen, if there were 10 vacancies that used to be vacancies were advertised, the reservation policy would apply 4-4-1-1 or whatever the ratio is. Now, in the absence of a roster system, then when the next 10 positions would come out, or 2 or 3 positions would come out, again the reservation policy would apply in the 4-4.5 and 1 version, 1.5. Now, when the reservation comes in, it actually charts out and prepares a schedule of which category, which post will go to which category. So if the reservation comes out tomorrow, a roster comes out tomorrow for reservation, it'll plot exactly that was position number 1 is meant for unreserved, position number 2 is for Khasi Jaintia, position number 3 is for Garo, position number 4 will be for Khasi Jaintia, position number 5 will be for Garo, position number 6 will be for Khasi Jaintia. It plots those points in the sense that tomorrow if there is an appointment or an interview call for 3 posts, that means there will be 1 post for unreserved, 1 for Khasi and 1 for Garo. That's what a roster does. Now if the 4th position comes out tomorrow for an interview, so number 1, number 2, number 3 is done. The number 4 position is for a Khasi. Hence the advertisement will say 1 LDA post for a Khasi category. If again after a year 1 more post comes out, that's number 5 position, that's meant for a Garo. And hence the advertisement will say LDA position for a Garo. So roster system allows the implementation of a reservation policy in letter and spirit, and allows the exact schedule of the post to be appointed. That's what a roster is, and hence a roster, a reservation policy without a roster will not implement the reservation policy in true letter and spirit. But is the question of discussing reservation is policy is completely different subject. So I mean, I'm trying to explain to you. It's complicated. I'm sure that when you see the chart tomorrow, you'll be able to understand the concept better. As I said that
Based on population.
no, as I said that is a different subject. We that is an issue that can be discussed, may be discussed. That we are not talking about as of now. As of now, the subject in front of us is the roster system and implementation of that. So hence we are taking that first part and we are trying to resolve that issue because that is something that is mandated by the High Court. The broader discussion on reservation policy is something that is not going to be discussed in this yesterday or today or tomorrow. So these 3 days have been specifically kept for roster system to implement the roster system in view of the court order and to ensure that the reservation policy, which was made in 1972, is implemented in letter and spirit. Yeah, it's like this. There is no advantage to any person. It is just that when reservation is there, a roster has to be there. It is what is mandated by Government of India and Supreme Court. And hence, Meghalaya should have implemented the roster system from day one. Because as I said, the roster system allows a particular post which is meant for a certain community to go to that community. So as I said, now try to be with me out here and I'll try to explain to you. If the other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste, which have 5% reservation, if you look at a 100-point roster, 5% means 5 posts will go to them in 100 posts. Are you with me? So 5 posts will go in 100 posts. 5 posts will go to other tribes and other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste, which means every 20th post, post number 20, post number 40, post number 60, and post number 80 and post number 100 will be for other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste. Now, if the roster system is not present, we will keep repeating 40, 40, 15, 20, and it will keep going in the system. Now, tomorrow, if we have finished 19 recruitments and there is one post that comes out for the 20th one and said one post, what will that advertisement say? It will say one LDA post for other scheduled tribe and other scheduled caste. It will not say Khasi, it will not say Garo, it will not say UR. Because it is meant, the roster has set a system and a schedule for the other scheduled caste, other tribe to get that post on the 20th post that comes out. That is what roster is. So it's not meant to give any benefit to anybody. It is meant to ensure that reservation policy is implemented in letter and spirit. That is what it is. Yeah, so it is unanimous in the sense that they have taken the points, they have understood it, they have appreciated what the different points we've made. They have still a lot of doubts because, as I said, I tried to explain some points. You can understand it's complicated. So it's much more complicated than what I told you just now. So there are many scenarios that will develop through that, many complications. So all those things were explained to them. So whatever they could grasp at that point in time, I'm sure that they have found it quite satisfactory. But they have a lot of questions. They have said that please allow us to absorb what has been just shown to us. A lot of information was shown, and they've said that when we'll discuss it and we'll, if necessary, if you have more doubts, we'll come back.